We are live. Yo, bro.
You, Joe Buttons, Queen Split, Flip the Script, G Money, and I want to come together. I knew you since I was a kid. I don't like all this fly shit. I want to do it with you. Friends.
But you have a podcast about.
I want to do it together. You're interviewing guys. You're interviewing guys in forests. You doing? I want on.
I don't want to do a podcast together.
Why?
I support you doing your podcast and I'm doing my podcast. No. Stop.
Give me out, nigga.
No, stop.
I want to do.
Stop playing.
I don't want to fight you.
I don't want to fight either.
But I want to do a podcast.
Don't hug me.
So why you can't do a podcast with me?
I don't want to do a podcast.
Tell me why.
Stop.
Why you trying to swing at me?
Stop.
Come on, I'm sorry.
No.
But what how was Web
I'm
feel?
trying to text a girl. Stop.
How about our family feel? Did you not know me since I was a kid?
Yes.
So I can get a hug?
No. Don't hug me, man. For real. Let me do my phone call. Stop. For real. I love you, but don't hug me.
I shake my hand.
Yo, what I told you. Yo, what I told you. What I told you.
Yeah, let Joe hand him up. Put a couple hundred, he got like 100 pounds, 150 pounds.
I was towards the front of the house. I heard some shit like in the bushes outside, like some shit like, what the fuck is that? Go and pee. What the fuck is going on? I know y'all, this is all crazy to y'all, but I'm like, what, nigga? I know where we live. I know what it is. What the fuck is that? Like, do I need to alert niggas what's up?
It's a deer, and I'm minding my business.
No, but that, listen.
It's only funny because they street niggas.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
You crazy.
I hear that shit, nigga. As soon as I went like this, the light was on me. Yo, you. I was like, oh shit. You, come over the door. What the fuck, nigga? I don't have no interaction with them niggas, dog. Thank you. Now, where the fuck was you to tell me not to open the door, nigga?
I thought he was home. I thought he was in the guest house.
No, this was before that.
Dog.
This was before that, my nigga. I'm telling you.
Before them niggas would have said, come open the door, I would have went to everybody in the house and be like, yo, the police outside. So if a nigga got to put something up, if a nigga got to do something, yo, what's going on? Mm-hmm. I'm not just going downstairs to open the door. That's what I come from, because the niggas that I live
open the door.
No, the niggas that I live with had shit in the house that.
Again, I don't come from that.
Gotcha.
I tell y'all a million times, Ice was inside. I don't know. This is my first time ever experiencing anything like this.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yes, my nigga. You think I be lying about my
upbringing? Nah, my doors done been kicked off the hinges.
Never. So I'm like,
in that, I think it's important kind of for friends to know that about their friends. That's true. Right? Like, that's important to just know.
Some niggas will tell you, yo, dog.
I never
don't commit no crime around me because I'm telling. Niggas will tell you that.
What did I start with? I tell everybody, don't do that shit around me. Don't put me in that position.
So when you open the door, they went to go lock him up?
No. So now I'm going to tell you what I have seen in the past. Where any type of arguing shit came, because with my moms and my stepfather,
understand?
They come, they separate him. Yo, let him get his shit. He has to leave.
I saw that too, yes.
And they let him leave.
I see that before. Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. Now, they say, yo, all right, well, we need to speak to him first. So I'm thinking in my head, that's all I've ever seen. Okay, they're going to separate them. She's coming to take some shit and leaving. I know it was his crib.
I separated us.
I don't know this, Joe. I wasn't over there with y'all. She left. I remember her leaving.
How the hell you get there then, nigga?
Nigga, we can talk off because I'm not trying not to put so much shit up there. They're like, we need to speak to him first. I didn't even know these niggas followed me. Real talk. I'm going to look for him to say, yo, they want to speak to you first.
Oh, they was behind you?
Yes. I did not know these niggas walked in and followed me. Real talk. I did not know. I opened the door. We need to speak to him first. I turned around to go see where he was at.
Okay.
Not too much on Ice, too.
I don't give a fuck.
Got him.
Listen, bro, it is what it is.
And they locked him up.
And I was like, yo, what the fuck? First thing I did was call his mom. Yo, Miss Faith, XYZ just happened. I don't know what's going on. This just happened. No. Right away. What do we, like, what's up?
You know how when you finally get to sleep after a long argument. Went to bed. Oh, fine. Boom, 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 boom. I'm glad that's over Friday. Thank the Lord.
When they grabbed this nigga, I said, yo, what the fuck? I was like, yo.
God,
I didn't know what to do. So I
They didn't rough him up, though.
cool.
Nah, they didn't
Listen, they
rough him
sleep.
up.
You say that, man?
The best sleep of my life.
Deep snoring.
Nigga talking about some flashlight.
Wake up.
Woke right up.
And then when they start grabbing him, I'm like, yo, what the
Two
fuck?
of them niggas.
Nigga say, yo, they need to talk to the nigga first.
I said,
Again,
how
I
y'all
don't-
got in here?
I don't know nothing about this shit, bro.
I'm in my bedroom.
Wait.
I got it. Fun times. The JPP.
Yo, you stay at ice.
Ooh.
You stay at ice down on the way out.
You say you stared him out on the way out. The cops was escorting you. You staring down, you know what I'm saying? You know how they be having, but yeah, you sold me out.
What's up, y'all? Queens Flip. I'm
Sold
here.
me
I'm
out.
back.
Threw me under the bus, bro.
For a couple hours. You know they can't leave Flip out, and I'm not going to let them leave me out. Shout out to my man Art. You know what I mean? Shout out to Joe. Shout out to. What's up, y'all? Queens Flip. I'm here. I'm back. The suspension for a couple hours. You know they can't leave Flip out, and I'm not going
That's
to
wrong.
let them leave me out. Shout out to my man Art. You know what I mean? Shout out to Joe. Shout out to the whole JB.
Guess what?
What's up, y'all?
He got into an argument with Joe. Hold on, man. He done been. You just got there. Bro, you just got there, bro. No, it's gonna be the bed. It's gonna be the bed. Like you got to understand when something's the bed and what is, you know what I mean, when it's the bed. It's the bed, bro. It's hilarious, yo. Look, man. I'm just laughing still, just thinking about it because damn, what was they about to fight or something? Oh no, it's straight. All right, so no, because yeah, what's he doing? Yeah, he just got there. How you already in some stuff like that, bro? You just got there. But I get it. He and like you said, you seen the earlier clip. The story of how Queen's Flip fought his way onto the Joe Buttons podcast. He wrestled that nigga. Joe was like, yo, man, yo, come on, man. He's like, give me a hug, you know what I mean? All that stuff. So he done got suspended within the first 4 or 5 episodes. He's like, what's up? Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. Like 3 hours suspension, 2, 3. Yo, listen to the story of what the heck this character did, like, and how he's functioning out here. Yo, like, if they want content, you got to consider this great. I mean, like, this is entertainment. And sometimes I'll be wondering whether he's serious or joking. I think it's a mixture of both because he's always been this way.
What's up, y'all? Queens Flip. I'm here. I'm back. The suspension for a couple hours. You know they can't leave Flip out, and I'm not going to.
The suspension.
Shout out to my man Art. You know what I mean? Shout out to Joe. Shout out to the whole JBP. I wasn't letting them leave me out. I was right there, right to it. Joe told me, because, you know, I told y'all, we had an argument, and you can watch on Patreon how the argument went. I think it's a higher tier, but me and Joe had a big argument in the bar. You know, somebody DM me, yo, I thought you and Joe was about to fight. I thought Joe was about to rock it off on you. But we was going into it, and you know, shout out to them. Shout out to the network. First and foremost, I'm gonna let y'all know that me and G Money is coming back. Flip the Script podcast is still there. Nothing changed. Flip the network is still there. Nothing changes at all. We still got it going. We still rocking. We're going to keep it moving in the direction we need to move it in. Right now, we're finding a pace, you know, due to the fact that I've signed to another network for the time I signed. We'll see. But I had fun this episode. I mean, you know, make sure you guys watch and hear the story what happened with me and Joe in the bar. You know, the whole ego thing, the whole views thing, the whole measuring. I'm popping, and all that stuff, and standing up.
Arguing with Joe. Just got there.
Worked itself out. Podcast was good though. See a lot of people talking. Your Flip came out of nowhere. As you know, Joe told me to sit home. And then I got hit up in the morning. And I just decided to go. You're not going to tell me sit home while I'm on the contract. I'm here to work. You're not telling me sit home. Nah. So I went, popped up. I told Art, yo, I'm pulling up. All right. Shout out to Art, Ian. Shout out to the whole.
I told Art, Ian pulling up. All right. He took a Jack and Lingo from around the way. You know that's not y'all, but anyway, he told him, all right. You know what I'm saying? He said, ding, ding, ding. He said, you're not gonna tell me to sit down on the contract. He got suspended. Joe told me to sit home, sit it out for a couple of days. That nigga was sitting home like, man, F that. He said, man, F that. I'm pulling up, man.
You're not gonna tell me sit home while I'm on the contract. I'm here to work. You're not telling me sit home. Nah. So I went, popped up. I told Art, yo, I'm pulling up. All right. Shout out to Art, Ian.
All right.
Shout out to the whole
shout out to Ian.
cast though. Shout out to M4. Shout out to my man Freeze. Shout out to CP. Shout out to Library.
Joe. Shout out to Library.
Shout out to
Everybody nicknames.
Corey, shout out to everybody. This episode was pretty good. But there's one thing I wanted to ask you people.
Okay.
So there was a question that I posed to M4, and I, about people distancing themselves from somebody they've been cool with for a long time. So I'm not gonna say she was cool with Kanye for a long time, but M4 doesn't rock with Kanye anymore because of his beliefs. Now, I don't necessarily believe in that. I love Melissa. It's fire. Ooh. Fire. Beautiful. Great personality, great energy. But I said, nah, we not going with that. I had a friend named King Face, God rest the dead. He was a MAGA supporter. He supported Trump. He ended up in the White House. And my mom, being who she is, she didn't really like Trump. And she had a lot of things to say about my friendship with Face. I didn't agree with her. I didn't like it. And I felt like, because I didn't believe in the whole thing, I don't care if his political beliefs.
Check this guy.
I don't, me personally. I care about how he treat me. As long as he's not hurting the world, as long as he's not doing anything immoral, as far as touching children or doing like a lot of things, if it's not affecting me personally or my family or my inner circle or human society, I can look past it. I will not stop being somebody's friend because of their political views. I may look at them crazy. I feel like a lot of us hop on the bandwagon of others. I feel like we like to hop on the bandwagon of the norm. Like, oh, you look crazy. That's why I said I respected Whoopi Goldberg when she protected Mel Gibson. I did. I respected it. I don't like what he said, but she held him down.
I kind of
Stood
remember.
on her square.
I slightly remember that.
I respected that. So I was telling M4, I'm like, yo, like you was cool with Ye. You was cool with him.
Excuse me.
Now the world don't rock with him, you're not rocking with him, and she has her beliefs, and I understand that. I mean, her beliefs is solid. Don't get it twisted. I don't believe in that though. And that's what I want to ask you guys. What does it take for a person to do who you consider? And I'm not. First of all, let me just put some context. M4 said they just checked on each other. No, she was just cool with him. I'm adding ketchup to the spaghetti sauce. I'm adding mad ketchup. I'm trying to make them look crazy. Nah. It was cool. It was cordial. But how I feel is that when it was a positive state, I'm pretty sure she has positive things to say. Now that it's not, I told her, or I feel like, yo, you're not rocking with him. And that's her right. And she has her stance, and I stand by her because she's my co-host. So I'm standing with M4. Cool. I'm not necessarily going to do that. And I want to ask you guys, what does it take for a person to do for you to not be their friend no more? What does it take for a person to do for you to publicly denounce the friendship? How far can they go? A lot of you out there, don't be phony, have crazy people in our family. P-files, R-words, parents. Let's talk about it. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about it. It doesn't make it right. It's disgusting. But the hard question is, do you stop loving them? They never did it to you, right? Do you stop loving them? Of course, what they did to whomever, disgrace, despicable. How do you handle that? Me personally, I knew somebody in my family that did that, um, and I had to cut them off. And I cut them off because I saw no sight of change. It was excuses, and if excuses are the tools for the weak and incompetent, they build and lead bridges to nowhere. There was another one who had a mistake, a domestic mistake, and um, I was upset, and I saw growth, so I was able to forgive and still say that's my family, that's my cousin. But it's hard to stand with people that do things, but it's easy to disown them publicly. Because the truth is, a lot of y'all love your father, your brother, your sister, your mother that does things, that did drugs, that gave away. I know a girl that her mother gave her away when she was a kid for some crack, and she love her to this day. Would she say that publicly? No, because the norm is you gotta look down upon that. Let's keep it real. The problem is I'm here to keep it real. I'm breaking the fifth wall again. I'm here to keep it real. I'm here to tell the truth. How do you feel? If I see change, people make mistakes. We all grow.
Oh, again.
How far does the first person have to go for you to disown them, denounce the friendship?
I have a video. We'll be doubling back. You know, there's a video that we definitely gotta hang on a second. Well, I'll say there's a video we gotta go through. I'll be doubling back, right? And it's more of Fliz, Queen Flip talking. And he was jeez, oh man. Oh yeah, he was talking to some of his folks from around the way, you know. And he was like, you from Queens? You know, I was like, oh man, here we go. But he did pretty much already say how he can't do certain stuff no more. In the contract, you working with, working with certain stuff that has certain standards and policies, and he can't do certain stuff no more. And he was like, damn, that quick, you know what I mean? But I get it. So he can't be as raw as he wanted to. You're not going to see the old Flip. You're not going to see the exact same old Flip. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I'm just saying you're not going to see the Flip no more. Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Some of that's about to not be. Well, actually, he's enough. He's so funny that without all the antics, he's still the bid. Just the way he approaches stuff. But they're going to tell him to tone that down a little bit too, But he was raw talent, so it's still going to be there. It's not as hard. It's going to be hard to really lock him down from every angle. You're going to all he gotta do is chill. They cutting the check. Like what? And Joe Buttons, all right. Joe Buttons strikes me that seems to be the type of person who, like, the thing about it, all right, a lot of people can't stand people who are too aware or, too like, and then will verbalize it, like what's transpiring. You know how stuff is a wet and you just hope and you just like for some reason people just you don't like Queen's Flip got his own platform and Joe Button but Queen's Flip was in this before a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that right. Like he already was like bubbling from the muscle, from the mud for a lot of people. Now he's as far a lot of people don't know, which is a good thing, which is crazy to know. But like he got some, that's why relationships in their area and the way they're functioning, relationships are important because You know, everybody found their little spots and their little stuff like that, and they be like, I'm at a table to eat, and it's only enough for this couple people that I formed it with at the time. And that's like, you had your platform, but maybe there was some educational things and some foundational structural things about it that was changing now. The way the platforms, the way you're supposed to set stuff up, the things that come along with it. He's still functioning off of the raw thing because he was from the beginning. It's like K Shine. Yeah. And he still wanted it. So when the transition came of how you do it, which really would catapult Queen Flip through the roof once he catches his feet in that, and Joe's trying to show him, but Joe's like, look, while you're on my platform and I'm showing you, you gotta abide by my rules. It's like my crib. It's like you might not take your shoes off at your crib, but if you go to your man crib to eat dinner and stuff like that, he requires the shoes being taken off. You simply just honor the rules of the house. Like, you don't try to make it that complicated. But Flip, knowing so well, or so long, so well, and since before all this, that he looking like, come on, man, you know what I mean? And Joe like, yo, come on, man, like, you gotta chill, bro. Like, come on, dude. Everybody else is following the rules. This ain't like, we're not in the little bando, or we're not, at a rap. We're not backstage at a concert with the hoolies. You know what I'm saying? This is the step up. But Flip is a person that still carries it for the people from the mud. So everybody's kind of poised to see how his transition will be. But Flip's not the type of person that you really can. Queen's Flip could be a Kevin Hart, but without having to do all that. He already does that stuff without it having been. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't try to force him to do something he was already doing. He was already bugging out, no shirt on in the cold, wrestling niggas, chasing people down, doing goofy stuff anyway. So it's like, so you ain't gonna say Flip changed if you seen him in movies doing what he already had been doing. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And that's why he got an upper hand than most people that's making this transition, because he's still functional. Like, a lot of people probably thinking he put a whole lot of professionalism behind it. He probably did what he knows how to do based off of the old tools and the way, the original, the original way. They like, nah, you do this, you got to set up these other platforms. You got to do this, that, and the third. They was telling him on the one episode how he don't even, like how you saying, he don't even write cards of subject lines. He was like, you mean you just go out there and wing it every time? Like, you got to be a heck of a person. So before I'm gonna shut up soon. So Joe Buttons is one of the type that, like, if the conversation comes about, like, some people for some reason just can't stand hearing the person say it. Like, if this is the situation, he'll say it, and people be offended by him saying that this is the situation. Like, if like Queen's Flip didn't mind saying, "Oh, I signed the Joe Buttons, the Joe Budden Network." But if Joe Budden, if they were to get into it, if somebody were to ask Joe Budden this, that, and the third, and then somehow, or they were having a discussion on their podcast, and he said how, the arrangements of who's the boss or something like that, they'll get people be getting like, you see Rory and Mal? Like what? Like, I mean, you don't think. And Joe said he's the type of person that will move on just for the sake of, he likes to shuffle the cards every so often. He said some people be like, and he said they get offended. He said because they think, oh, there was a reason why I just stopped that show and started another one. He's like, no, every couple seasons, I start a show, every couple things, I shuffle the cards and create something new. Like, I get bored of that particular arrangement of it personally. It has nothing to do with nobody else or my cast members. It's not nothing personal or nothing like that. And he, in his mind, he thinks so far ahead. Like I said, when you think far ahead, sometimes you forget to tell people, but then other people say you could tell me, but they don't get it when you tell them, but they say you could show me, but they still don't get it when you show them. So he's the type that probably at this age or something, he's like this. I was telling people and now I'm showing people, but you're going to have to watch how I move and forget, you know what I mean? Like, or something like that. He's like, when you see me make the move, you're going to have to figure out what that, you don't got to do what I did, but figure out what that means for yourself. Because he's like, used to tell people a few years back what to do in a situation like this. After seeing so many people not do it, I stopped saying it. I just keep moving, and hopefully those who are clever enough are going to understand what's going on here. So he's like, look, even if I end the show when there's no discrepancies, you're supposed to know that while the show was going on, you just got a whole bunch of stardom and notoriety enough to do whatever you need to do from this point on. I don't need to tell you from the beginning that you should be setting up for that. It's something that people should know. So when you're the one that's moving like that, people's thinking Joe's doing them dirty, when Joe is like keep advancing, and then people are looking like, all right, he's like, all right, so look at. Well, that's what it is. Like, but it feels so comforting and good. But I think now look at academics though. But academics is the prime example. Him and Joe meet up after the separation. Joe started Everyday Struggle. When Joe left, it helped academics become who he was. And a lot, and they talk about that. Yeah, no, that's how much academics knew how to capitalize it. So when academics was telling a story, he was like, you didn't say nothing. Joe was like, yo, I'm not your teacher. He's like, I used to do that years ago, and when nobody wanted to listen. He was like, at this point in time, like I'm not, and it's not even nothing personal. And he was like, all right, when the season ends, he was like, when the season ends, don't expect me to re-sign. If y'all re-sign, that's on y'all. If it makes sense to y'all, where I go after that, you think, oh, but he's like, nah, we formed this. It bubbled. Like they be getting paid, they be getting money, and then like Rory and them was like, oh yeah, he was withheld. I'm like, that's when your eye isn't on the level up and the opportunity that you're now engulfed in, that's surrounding you. I would probably right now, like me in that situation, I probably wouldn't have nothing to say, nothing hard, you know what I mean? Because I would know how to maneuver. So academics bubble. Some other people bubbled. He was like, you left. He said you left the show. He was like, that's because the contract negotiation, they wasn't abiding by how I wanted things to be. And they was like, but you left us high and dry. He was like, it's up for y'all to negotiate with them how you want things to be. He said they didn't want to do things that I negotiated, so I bounced. So he bounced. And so Ack was like, damn, but he left, and it left Ack to be the lead role. And Ack blew into, you know what I mean, inherited that. But the way it seemed looked like he just left them cliffhanging. But it's like, he's like, yo, I don't even know y'all like that for real, for real. We put together this show that was my show. I brought to them this idea and created Everyday Struggle. By the time Joe Buttons left, people did think it was academics' show. And they didn't even realize that. So when Ack was like, yeah, so my show, when they get on each other's podcasts, academics would be like, yeah. So when I had a Everyday, he was like, yeah, so you left the show. He said, you mean like I left my show? And academics like, yeah, well, like, damn. So here we are, Flip. Now, Flip is supposed to know you have all this time to watch. Everybody's watching these podcasts crash and burn. Flip's cast left and went to Math Hoffa, who left Math Hoffa and started their own thing for all types of reasons. So here we go, Flip. 5 days in, he just he drawn, but start talking about some realer stuff as time goes on.
I want to know. I just don't want everybody hiding because I know a lot of people out here in society. It looks good to. We want to be pictured a certain way. We want to be looked at from a certain lens. Not me. My lens, the lens I want you to look at me from is a foggy lens. I don't want you to like me. I'm not here to please anyone but my children, my family, and to allow the people that follow me to understand and get into my world. But I'm a realist. It's reality. It's hard to denounce someone who you loved all the time. I know people that love murderers, people who have committed the biggest sin. I even seen the person that was murdered, parents love the murderer. It's easy to denounce. It's easy. It's easy to look in the dark and say it's dark instead of finding the light in the dark through the crack. It's easy. It's easy to follow society's rules. But how do you feel? Let me know below. Queen.
So I'll start off by coming clean. I have actually never online dated.
Babe.
Hey, listen, when that camera on, that's the show. I personally, I don't care. I don't take it personal. Like when the camera turn off, it's all cool. I'm gonna say it. I say it all the time on the show. Hey man, my check don't change. This is work for me. This is me going to work. Some people go to their job, whatever it come with, whatever it come. Those who know me know my daughter is my life. Like that's my entire world is centered around her. I'm proud of that. I love that. He said that don't make for a good show though. Like nobody want to hear about parenting and all this. I'm like, well, hey, if you want to joke your way through it, it's your show. You do what you got to do. I'm cool with that. As long as when my check hit, it's what it's supposed to be. I'm at work, bro. So I don't take. When I walk out of there, I leave it.
See, bro, like that's what they try. That's what they telling. He trying to make it seem like they try to force him to do like unsavory stuff. Like they're trying to force him to. They saying we want you to be a little bit more like saucy with the presentation of a story. Like add a little bit of flair to the story and some type of, you know what I mean, or something. Really, see, creative thinking. Okay, you got you creative thinking. You gotta. I mean, creative speaking, creative thinking, creative conversational pieces and stuff like that. I guess, because I guess you gotta bridge the gap between what you're experiencing and then the presence of mind to use those aspects of it when you're here doing public speaking on a platform where people are just, when you're going through conversational pieces. So a lot of people's like, yo, it's not within my world to be keeping up with the current times like that because, all right, like he said, I take care of my daughter. I do the stuff, honorable stuff, so nobody wants to argue with that. So, but that's, you know, realistically, that's not the only thing you experience during the course of a day. So how do you bridge the gap between like the presence of mind to tap into those other things? And then that's what opens you up to being able to give random conversation about that along with them, even when it's not like, even when you don't know what the heck they're talking about. Once you catch, you gotta be you know what I mean? You gotta be open-minded enough to just catch the gist of what they were getting at. Then you can ask, just remember. And then when you ask, it's content for them to elaborate to you. You get what I'm saying? Like ask real quick. It's just a moment right there. Just be like, well, fill me in. I'm unfamiliar with that story. When they do, some people are so stiff. They'll just be like, oh. You're in a setting where they want you to elaborate, give a take on it. Like, and he's like, well, what do you want me to say? Something I wouldn't say? That's not me. That seems like I'm faking. It's like, it's not that deep. There's more that comes to mind than you're in tune with. You're not tapped in. You know what I mean? You're not open-minded. You know what I mean? You don't got yourself open-minded enough. It gets like that. There's more going on there. You just got to have the presence of mind to recognize. But not everybody has to. But that's why not everybody's sitting out there being in the front of a podcast where you got to film up a couple episodes a week. You want the bag, so position yourself. The dude. That's why I don't know. I'm not saying nothing bad about what he's saying. I don't know the insides and outs. But yo, now we're in a time period where you get to watch these scenarios become common things of something happening at a podcast, something happening behind the scenes. And it's like, if they were willing to what is it that you're missing if they still kept paying you to sit there and give your take? Are you mad because of what? Because like, that's what I was saying. If you're in contract, especially, let's say you're under Joe Budden, a person who voluntarily says that he would leave a platform after a certain time, not because there's any problem with the cast. So in his contract, is he trying to do something where it's contractually that you're going to be left off a cliff? I doubt that, to the point where he's disallowing you to set up other business while you're getting this notoriety, to where you can, you know what I mean? To where you have more control over the opinion you're giving or the presentation of your stuff. Like, nothing really has to stop these people. Yeah, it don't really have. I don't know the insides, but just saying, like, you couldn't take. Look, it couldn't be me. Put it that way. Right now. Jake over there getting to it. I cracked the door. I put the hoodie on. Crack the door to throw the hoodie on. Long live Crawl Pack. Crawler. All right. So he starts off already saying, as long as my check, as long as, if they're paying you, why is you so sour? If it's where if you're able to maintain, yeah. If it's just like, he said, I get paid to show up and
Listen, when that camera on, that's the show. Personally, I don't care. I don't take it personal. Like, when the camera turn off, it's all cool. I'm gonna say it. I say it all the time on the show. Hey man, my check don't change. This is work for me. This is me going to work. Some people go to their job, whatever it come with, whatever it comes. Those who know me know my daughter is my life. Like, my entire world is centered around her. I'm proud of that. I love that. He said that don't make for a good show though. Like, nobody want to hear about parenting and all this. I'm like, well, hey, if you want to joke your way through it, it's your show. You do what you got to do. I'm cool with that. As long as when my check hit, it's what it's supposed to be. I'm at work, bro. So I don't take. When I walk out of there, I leave it all in there. I don't feel any type of way about anything. I've seen people saying, yo, so the people sitting on the couch now. I told fam, you can have the entire Wu-Tang Clan, the Boot Camp Clique, and the Dungeon Family, and mic everybody up. As long as my check stays the same, I'm cool. I don't care. I'm just at work. I'm here to do my part. I hear everything everybody's saying. Yo, we don't like Ice when he talk about this, or we love Ice when he talk about that. I don't care. I'm just gonna be me. I don't waver. I'm just gonna be who I am. Whoever like it, whoever don't. And hey man, I'm at work. I'm just doing my job. Cause we had a whole little discussion after that. It ended up getting clipped out, but he just said it don't make for people don't want to hear that. It don't make for good entertainment. He's like, you know, nobody cares. And I'm like, well, if you ask me what I'm
God
doing,
damn,
no,
what?
not nobody cares. But he said
Yo.
from a standpoint of like if you watch a TV show, right? Like we talked about it before, watching a car crash. You know, that's the more entertaining. Not. And he said, yo, which makes for the better story, the good girl or the... That was the question he posed.
So he wants you to lie and say you're a bad father, or
I'm not taking the podcast to the next level if that's what it takes. Like, let somebody else.
Maybe,
Hold on.
maybe not live.
See, but it makes sense because he just also in the other ones admitted, hey, I'm telling her this, that, and the third. I wasn't outside. I never, you know, so, but then, there's still a certain thing where it's like, okay, you don't have to be that type of way to where as though you're nasty like that, like where he was laying it out for somebody else to say. If you feel that way, just say it. It's all right. You're already out here, like you're saying you're not sour, but you're seeming sour. So you're already laying it out a certain type of way. So what is it really? You know what I'm saying? Like, so he's like, and so he's painting the picture so that the guy could finish the sentence for him. You heard that? Like how he, yeah, right. Like, so da. He's like, well, and then he doesn't even confirm, yeah, because you don't want to be caught some old you know what I mean, bluesy ass stuff. Shut up. But honestly, this is content too, but like, but it's like, so listen, watch. All right, I got to pause still. Go ahead. Yeah.
Who I am, whoever like it, whoever don't type of way about anything. I've seen people saying, yo, you know, some of the people sitting on the couch now. I told fam, you can have the entire Wu-Tang Clan, the Boot Camp Clique, and the Dungeon Family, and mic everybody up. As long as my check stays the same, I'm cool. I don't care. I'm just at work. I'm here to do my part. I hear everything everybody's saying. Yo, we don't like Ice when he talk about this, or we love Ice when he talk about that. I don't care. I'm just gonna be me. I don't waver. I'm just gonna be who I am. Whoever like it, whoever don't. And hey, man, I'm at work. I'm just doing my job. Cause we had a whole little discussion after that. It ended up getting clipped out, but he just said it don't make.
Hold on.
I'm at work. I'm just doing my job. Cause we had a whole little.
Hold on.
I don't waver. I'm just gonna be who I am. Whoever like it, whoever don't.
What are you talking about? I get it. That approach, no, all right. That approach is when you're at the helm. You don't sit in somebody else's situation and just start not giving no fucks like that, man. Excuse my language. You just don't do that, man. That's the problem. And you don't just serve stuff up to the people and say whoever like it, whoever don't. That's if you're by yourself where you say I'm going to randomness and there has to be somebody out there who likes it. Cool. When you're not with anybody. That's fine when you're not with anybody else, but when you're building a collective and stuff like that, people got to learn about collaboration, man. Like, and since you said it's so simple to where you just show up as long as your check don't take, then why are you so sour and salt? Why are you bringing salt? Why are you sitting there, salt box? Stop it. So I don't dislike Ice, but I think it's I think there's other ways of side content than you trying to like explain. But and I think people pay attention to the because not everybody's going to like you. If you wanted to say that, cool. But don't say I'm going to pod how I pod and people just see the truth or not. It's what if you're hurting the show See what I mean? Like what type of people? And I like, and I know people like that, and it's like, but like, yeah. It's just like, man, whatever happened, happened. It's like, well, all right, well, why did you come? You didn't have to, you know what I mean? You could have said, yo, I'm sitting this game out. Don't get in the game. Then start acting like that, and especially, and then let's just say you're on an NBA team, and you're like, shoot, I'm getting paid my contract regardless. All right, well, don't just flop us out when the ball comes to you. At least protect it and give it to us. Get it off your hands. Then don't sit there and take a sour position to where now when the ball comes your way, you're just gonna let the rebound go by you. What type of nasty stuff is that, man? Look, people know me. If anybody know Jaffe Joe out there, if people know, like, I'm exiting the building. I mean, like at some point in time, like if it's that serious, I'm exiting the building altogether. Like, you know what I mean? You wide open, they don't pass you the ball, they on some nut stuff, I'm out. I'm not even gonna sit there and cry, complain or nothing about it. You just gonna be like, you gonna see me walking off the court. I don't know sour stuff. It's just like, oh, yeah. Now, if I was getting paid for, and that was because I'm bald, we're not getting paid. You risking getting injury and stuff like that. Let's keep it a bean. If they pay me millions of dollars, I don't care if you don't pass me the ball. I'm gonna just go like, you know what I mean? I don't care if you don't pass me the ball. Go somebody else. I'm gonna set a pick for you. Hey, what? They paying me a couple M's. I'm gonna be a team player at that point. Like, you kidding me? Not to say I'm not a team player outside that, but when you're really balling in a game where you're at risk of injury, you get what I'm saying? You trying to say it's a serious setting, but there's no money involved. Now, if you're saying money should help people because it's your occupation, yeah, like at that point in time, I'm doing other things to make money, and y'all got me playing ball, and as if we're getting paid for it, and you're jerking wreck, right? So you can get injured playing ball. I'm like, that's going to stop me from doing the thing that's actually making money. Now, if ball was the thing that was actually paying me, that's a different story. So this dude's sitting up there acting like this is just a pickup game. No, you're getting paid. You cool, man. Use some of the resources to lighten your load or something like that. Like to create, you know what I mean? Create an outlet for yourself where if you feel like people don't understand you because of the type of conversation Joe Budden likes to have on his platform, then you create a little sub platform like Community Clips did and stuff, and start giving narratives. Now, don't corniness. You're sitting, yeah. People be in the comments. Like, I think because you're on TV, you want to be received well. And he's like, as long as my checks are still the same and this, that, and the third, I get it. All right. You know, and now you see why he's like, you could say, yeah. Like he created the Joe Budden Network. Stop. At least don't let the fans know you that funky. Attitude stinks. That's a stinky attitude. I'm still giving him a shot overall. I'm not gonna. I hope that was just like because Joe Budden also doesn't mind little bits of he's not scared of controversy. So you can't be going way over the line though, you know what I'm saying? Like with your little funky is.
Hey man, I'm at work. I'm just doing my job. Because we had a whole little discussion after that. It ended up getting clipped out, but he just said it don't make for people don't want to hear that. It don't make for good entertainment. He's like, you know, nobody cares. And I'm like, well, if you ask me what about
so okay. So they on that particular pod, when they brought up something, he gave an aspect. They said, that's what I did. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? That's not what I did. That's what I did. Da, 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 da. And in that live recording moment, it's hard to then, that's why I said we had a discussion that we clipped out. You see, because there had to have been a moment where Joe was like, yo, dude, don't be so, and that's what he's describing. But the way he's trying to paint it is that they were trying to get him to say something immoral. But they're saying, yo, when you talk about your holidays, we're not saying exclude your daughter. We're like, if you want to introduce it that way, also after you get done that part, don't just close it out. We want a little bit of entertaining aspects of what happened then forth. Because like, regardless of not, Joe's like, I don't want, like, depending on what the conversation is about to be from the next people who seem to be in tune with the way they're about to display it, you want to be the only oddball who's about to keep it real short, choppy, and stiff. So they're like, hey, the next person might say, yo, they don't want to put, I got, you know what I mean, they're wild, because Joe might be like, I went to the strip club. And that might be what he was about to say and stuff like that. It's not nice next to you just talking about the time you spent with your daughter all day. And then his next word is strip club. That's there are people in the world, there's sound bites that it just don't collectively blend together. And so ICE is trying to make it seem like they want him to talk about unsavory stuff. No, they just want it to be in the realm where it's able to mix their stuff, because there's more than just you on the podcast. So, and they're like, even if you went in that way, by the time you're ending what they asked you, at least leave it off with a way where it passes the baton to the next person. If you just chop with no even enthusiasm behind it, they ask you, you said, what do you want me to say? And then come on, tell us what you did. Yeah, he acting like that ain't how he was doing it. Now listen to how he's talking now. Like
people don't want to hear that. It don't make for good entertainment.
About yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that episode, when they asked Ice was like, but it wasn't even that, but it just was like, yeah, it was just real short and like wouldn't elaborate and left it at that. And he's like, well, dang, like we're about to clown and joke with a hint of adult humor. And like when you talk about I have multiple type of fans. This episode, I get it. Damn, I did talk about the holidays. So Ice probably, his argument could be, well, you're talking about the holidays. It's a family time and stuff like that. So it fits for me to bring that up. But Joe's going to say, the way that who we got here and what's going on at this point in time, he's like, look, if we were going to get into sentiment and stuff like that and dive deep into that area of it, trust me, I'm going to theme the show that way. You get what I'm saying? So on a regular basis, it's not that they won't touch on some deep subjects. It's just that Joe is a conversationalist. Most of the time, he's going to leave it broad enough to talk, broad enough to go anyway. So I'm a fan of Joe Budden. I listen to his music. From a fan's perspective, I've come to see what some of the ways he moves from the outside looking in, and some of the way he made something called Mood Music. He had a series called Mood Music.
He's like, nobody cares, and I'm like, well, you asked me.
God damn, what?
Not nobody cares.
Say you was about to put words in the man's mouth. He's pretty much like nobody cares.
Like it, but don't. And hey, man, I'm at work. I'm just doing my job. Cause we had a whole little discussion after that. It ended up getting clipped out, but he just said people don't want to hear that. It don't make for good entertainment. He's like, nobody cares, and I'm like, well, you asked me what.
God damn, what?
Not nobody cares.
Now, how would you feel? I have people do this all the time, but to me personally, I have people do this all the time. But how would you really feel? Would you say? Look at a narrative you're painting that he's like like you're trying to make it seem like he don't care about your daughter and you, and like he's so. And then I just showed up to work, and he was like, pretty much nobody cares. He was like, dang, he said that. He said, no, not nobody cares, but that's what you're trying to say. He said, you might as well just say he put the words in his mouth. Then you already are. You know the angle he was coming from, saying he said it don't make for good content. You probably already funky while he's telling you that. He all funky, like, what you want me to say? You know what I mean? And he like, dude, it don't make for good content for you, to everybody. And that's what Joe was probably explaining to him. And he was real funky about it. And he's like, okay. So he's trying to make it seem like Joe was like, oh, I don't care about your daughter and I don't care. He's like, but don't question. See how people, and you find a good ear to encourage that energy. It's always an ear that's going to encourage your nutty thoughts. And that ear normally is not on the inside. They're never really on the inside. And the person going for the ear subconsciously knows that they're only going to take your one-sided approach. But everybody needs people like that. But make sure you're being real with yourself too, because there is a reality going on, regardless of what you told somebody's ear. You know what I'm saying? So he's sitting here having this conversation with this guy. Maybe Joe Budden might not even care, but you're painting this nasty picture. Now that's a little unsavory, the angle you're making it go. And even if he's really like that, it's hurting y'all brand.
And hey, man, I'm at work. I'm just doing my job. Because we had a whole little discussion after that. It ended up getting clipped out. He just said it don't make for, people don't want to hear that. It don't make for good entertainment. He's like, nobody cares. And I'm like, well, if you ask me what I'm
God
doing.
damn, what?
Not nobody cares.
See, and the reason dude react like that, because if Joe said that about your daughter, people's like respect, like, yo, that's messed up. You know what I mean? But he didn't. Yeah, and you had to stop him because you're out there drawing, man. You couldn't let that be what it. Well, not. Well, then why is you all? Ew.
From a standpoint of, like, if you watch a TV show, right? Like we talked about it before, watching a car crash. That's the more entertaining. Not. And he said, yo, which makes for the better story, the good girl or the story? That was the question he posed.
So he wants you to lie and say you're a bad father, or
I'm not taking the pot to the next level. If that's what.
See, and he's saying he wants you to be a bad father, or see how he's letting that be the lead. It takes a lot of funkiness. You're really seasoning this stuff with your salt a lot. The food's gonna taste nasty. Putting way too much season on it. The food's gonna taste nasty after a while, bro. Like you're putting too much salt and seasoning on this thing. Like it's taking. Look, if you had enough energy to put out this level of content, then that's what you should have brought to the show that day. You should have had that in you. You got a whole turkey butt for this joint. You got a whole 50 round. You got a whole switchy for this joint. Why you ain't had that for that episode? That's what inquiring minds want to know. Come on, stop it. Stop it, Ice. Now, Ice, you're not getting clipped yet. It's too soon. You know what I'm saying? It just, I ain't gonna say you just started. It just started. Like we're just watching this. You gotta, you know what I mean, Ice? You gotta tighten up, Ice. Tired of seeing this weird stuff. And then they be like, you don't know the whole story. Well, then why are you sitting behind the scenes salty telling half? You heard? They be like, y'all don't know the whole story. Well, why are you sitting behind the scenes telling half the story all salty? You know what I'm saying? Why are you telling half? If you can't tell the whole, if it's gonna sound awkward, you telling the half, and then people's gonna come question you about, well, your half, this half you're telling, like you're just like, well, I can't tell the whole. Hey, bro. Now you're saying you can't tell the whole. Got fuzzy on me. Drinking my coffee. So you can't tell the whole story. So you sound a little bit. Sometimes sobbing ain't the way to build up the following on your way. You know. Oh. I mean, for real, Mace bounced to go be a preacher and ain't even really ain't even really say much. Oh, yo, make sure it ain't what other type? Oh. What you cooking? Oh, make sure it ain't nothing else. Make sure there ain't no gases or nothing like that. No carbon, no gases. Keep a window or two cracked. Anyway, so I got my door cracked now because it's cold. Got the heat blasted. I got my joint cracked now too because it's cold. I got the heat blasted, but I gotta crack that joint. So, so yeah, so the nastiness, like ill, like come on, man. So, and then they're folks. Like he said in one episode that his daughter is Joe's goddaughter. So you're kind of yeah, like I said. What did you call it before? What the word you say? Pacify. Now, Joe's using that analogy to say about content in general, right? He's still trying to blend it in with the specific. You said you couldn't hear it? You can hear it? You can't hear it? Can you hear it?